Stories define who we are, and that stories dictate how we see ourselves and how we see each other. And how we see each other absolutely impacts how we treat each other.
Tenemos que huir de nuestros países y acostumbrarnos a una nueva vida.
Refugees fought all the way to the end to not leave their country. Their dream is not to go do a mess in that land or do something wrong. They're just trying to survive.
It's kind of crazy that you have a situation where there's millions and millions of people in the population where they almost never get the opportunity to contribute to the stories that define who they are.
Most stories that are told about refugees come from journalists in the countries where they live, from politicians trying to make a point, but rarely do we actually hear from refugees or have refugees who are the ones who are behind the camera or doing the interviews.
If those marginalized groups are never having the opportunity to contribute to how they're seen, those policies are being created on a basis of inaccurate information.
The only way to really counteract them is to change who's doing the storytelling.
And that's why we created Witness Change. It was really, how can we do change-centered storytelling? What is a change we want to see, and what is the storytelling that we can create in order to bring about that change?
We completely agree.
Oh, yes.
So 1,000 Dreams is a project designed to elevate the capacity of refugees to tell their own stories. There is no single refugee story, and we wanted to be able to do these 1,000 stories to embrace the diversity of refugees. We conduct workshops all around the world. We teach them in photography and interviewing skills, and then we support them with photography equipment and some financial support to be able to go out and tell the stories of their own communities.
The big men to this side.
And then as an organization, we do what we can to make sure those stories are seen and heard by host countries, by politicians, in the media, and other interested parties. I'm a professional storyteller. I believe in professional storytelling, but I found the people whose lives I was documenting would tell these stories in the hope that by doing so, a difference would be made in their lives. Things would change. And quite often what happened is nothing would change. Supporting refugees to tell the stories themselves, it gives a level of access that we as outsiders never would have. They interview people in their own languages, they interview members from their own communities. They go and see people who would never tell us as outsiders their stories.
When it's somebody who's been through it, who's went through it themselves, they know that our story isn't a sob story, because we're here and it's also our strength story.
It is important because you went through the same journey. But when they understand that you're there, you're one of them, they can trust you. Through this opportunity, I am going to be able to take these voices that are unheard and make them one empowered voice, creating a wave of impacting change in the community. The more story we said, the louder the voice.
When everyone has the power to share the experience of their own communities, I think it creates a more empathetic society, a society that's better connected, and communities that can relate to one another.
If the stories are wrong, the attitudes and the policies will be wrong. And we really believe that this work has the ability to make a real difference as to how refugees are seen and heard, and therefore a real difference in their lives.
You really see people grow over the course of a week and create some really beautiful images. I'm really proud of the work that they've done. I think it's amazing. I'm proud to be part of this project.
It will create some change. And trust me when I say it, because I've seen when the amplified voice can change.